So I was cleaning some of my NES games, and when I came to Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, I opened it up and noticed that the board inside is completely different from any other Nintendo game I own. Now, to give you a sense of comparison, I'm going to show you the inside of a couple of Nintendo games, just so you can get an idea on the various chipsets and layouts that were commonly used, but also so you notice the standard that they sort of follow. Starting off with Dr. Mario, we open up to find a perfectly normal, very standard NES game. Now what we have going on here, as I said, is the very standard NES game. You've got your program stored here, you've got your character set stored here, you got your lockout chip, and you have your memory controller. Now the program chip plugged directly into the actual CPU of the system. Your character chip was plugged into the PPU, and while there were ways to cross the data around, you could store some program code here and vice versa, it wasn't the most efficient method. Of course, the lockout chip kept piracy out, at least it was supposed to. More on that in a later video. And the memory controller sort of handled how all this integrated to be very, very basic. I don't fully understand it. The NES was a rather complex system, but not insane to code for, pretty standard for its time. If we move on to Mario 3 though, things get a little more interesting. We'll open it up, and you'll see for Mario 3 a bigger board, because we've got the program and character sets, you got the lockout chip, and now you have the MMC3 chip, and an additional chip containing probably additional data or more memory for stuff to work around with. Let's take a more detailed look. Now what we have here is the MMC3, in this case packaged as the MMC3B, and this was the most common memory management chip on the NES. Most of your higher profile games used it or something similar. Konami had their own chip. A lot of different companies used varying expansion methods for the NES, and they worked pretty well. But this one in particular is Nintendo's baby, and definitely is one of the best things to happen to the NES. Otherwise, you'll notice that the game is basically the same format as any other NES title, still using the program chip and the character set chip to handle most of the data storage. So still straightforward, even with the more advanced memory controller. Going into my favorite game ever, Crystallis, and yes, as you can tell, this is the cartridge I had as a kid. We crack it open, and we get an example of a game which uses a battery for a game save. Now once again, we have your character and program memories. We have your MMC3 chip. You got your NES 10 lockout chip. You got the battery up here with a little diode. And you have what is the actual backup memory. A small RAM chip that the battery is supplying power to. But otherwise, once again, the same basic layout. They just expanded on and used what they needed to as they designed the games and expanded on what the system could do within the, cartridges. Now for the whole reason I'm making this video, Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt. If we look in it, you can already see way different. Now, that looks cool. Let's flip it over. If you look on Nintendo Age, I forget exactly what it calls these, but it does, this is common. This isn't just an oddball cart that I happen to have. They decided to go with a sort of blob chip method rather than the traditional heavier board. And I don't know if it was cost reduction, if it was just something they could do that was more efficient. I don't even know if other games use this or not. But this has to be the most unique and definitely most unexpected way to see an NES game. Even the NES 10 lockout chip is built into one of these blobs, and that's just crazy. It looks cool as hell though, so I ain't gonna, complain about it. But that is just completely different from any other Nintendo game I have ever seen. And I thought that was pretty cool, and honestly, this was the whole reason I made the video. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned a little something. Check out the links in the video description for more information on, NES stuff. If you want me to do more videos like this, open up some other cartridges, let me know in the comments below. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll catch everyone next time.